We're learning that BRS workers have staged a major protest where they can be seen burning the effigy of Bandi Sanjay in Delhi for the derogatory and unparliamentary comments made by him. Now remember, what is currently going on is that we earlier also saw a BRS protest, not in connection to this, but in connection to K Kavitha, who is currently being questioned by the Enforcement Directorate. Now, we are learning that BRS workers are staging a major protest, and we're showing you those visuals on your screens right now, where they can be seen burning the effigy of Bandi Sanjay in the national capital. That is where these protests are taking place. Now, again, you can see a lot of chaos in the visuals. They are burning the effigy. They seem to be beating the effigy with slippers as well. Now, again, this is reportedly in response to the derogatory and unparliamentary comments which were made by Bandi Sanjay. We will be connecting shortly with our reporter to get you more details on what the situation is. But for right now, that's the latest development when it comes to the BRS versus BJP. And again, this is taking place in the national capital. Now, again, to explain these visuals, the BRS workers are staging massive protests. This is, of course, in the national capital, and they are being seen. We're showing you those visuals on your screens right now, where they can be seen burning the effigy of Bandi Sanjay. And again, this is in response to reported derogatory and unparliamentary comments that were made by him. And you can listen into what's taking place in those visuals. You can see that they're putting out slogans as well. Now we're going to cross over to CNN News 18's Yash Goyal, who is giving us a ground report.
Well, in the visuals, we see the angry BRS workers burning the effigy of Bandi Sanjay, who is the Telangana BJP chief. And in fact, this is related to the use of unparliamentary language against K Kavitha. And in fact, these workers are not only raising that particular issue, but they're also raising the issue of K Kavitha's summon to the EDI in relation to the excise policy of the national capital. These workers are saying that the enforcement agencies are being used by the ruling dispensation just to curb opposition's voice, and this is what their anger looks like. And in fact, these visuals are coming to you from Telangana Bhavan here in the national capital. These workers are saying that all investigative agencies, be it CBI, be it ED, are used against their leader just to silence them, because they are the voice of the people. And in fact, in the coming 2024 general elections, these parties could actually emerge as strong opposition against the Bharatiya Janata Party. This is Yash Goyal with video journalist Ravi Ranjan for CNN News 18.
So that was CNN News 18's Yash Goyal giving you a description of what was going on, that ground report there explaining the visuals of the protest that's being staged by the BRS Netas. Again, they are beating an effigy of Bandi Sanjay. They are burning it as well. That's what you can see in your visuals. Now, we'll give you a bit of context when it comes to this story. All right, change of plans. We are crossing over to CNN News 18's Yash Goyal, who's joining us live right now. Yash, over to you.
Well, Aisha, these were the protests by the BRS worker here in the national capital outside Telangana Bhavan, where in fact they burned the effigy of Bandi Sanjay, who is the Telangana BJP chief. In fact, and this protest was not in particular related to K Kavitha's arrest, but though they also raised that very issue. In fact, today this effigy was burned because as per the BRS workers, Bandi Sanjay had used some derogatory language against K Kavitha. So they were actually wetting out their anger here on the streets of the national capital. And in fact, also they raised questions against the ruling dispensation at the center, and they targeted the BJP for using the enforcement agencies against the opposition parties. In fact, right now we know that K Kavitha is inside the ED office, and in fact the questioning in the alleged excise policy scam has begun with K Kavitha. And in fact, we have to remember that Manish Sisodia is also there at the ED office, because yesterday he was remanded the custody to the EBI by the Rouse Avenue court. So today things will be very interesting to watch whether if the enforcement agencies will be confronting both of them, and will both the leaders be sitting side by side and answering certain questions of the ED. Because yesterday during the hearing also the ED lawyers had actually maintained that it's K Kavitha also who's been involved in this entire matter, and in fact they've talked about the entire South group which is behind this entire alleged scam. So they talk about there are a couple of names which are very important to this very case. In fact, Arun Pillai is one such name which has cropped up in this entire investigation, and in fact he's been named in ED's charge sheet as well, and in fact he's one of the front men who was actually in talks with in fact Vijay Nair also. So this is the very line which the agencies have maintained during this entire investigation, and in fact they also went on to talk about how the proceeds of crime were actually also traced in this entire matter, where kickbacks were actually given to the Aam Aadmi Party by this alleged South group. So we can expect that on this very investigative front, more and more evidences could crop out in this investigation. Talking about the political sphere of this entire scenario, we have seen how the Aam Aadmi Party and the BRS had actually went on to launch a scathing attack on the Bharatiya Janata Party and stated that this is nothing but a political vendetta, because the elections are coming in different states, and in fact in 2024 we are also going to witness general elections. So the opposition parties have maintained that this is nothing but use of investigative agencies against them just to suppress their voice, because they say they are the voice of the public, and in fact they also say people are actually fed up with the rule of the Bharatiya Janata Party, and that's the reason they are trying to cobble up their voices just to maintain that, just to actually be in the public light. So this is the very line which the opposition parties have maintained. In fact, we also heard from Sanjay Singh some time back, and he also issued a statement on K Kavitha's arrest, and yet again the opposition parties, be it Aam Aadmi Party, be it BRS, be it other political parties, they maintain the very single stance that this is just political vendetta, and this is a witch hunt which has been launched by the ruling dispensation. On the investigation side of the stories, there are many startling facts which had come to the fore, and in fact yesterday's hearing was very crucial in this entire matter, where K Kavitha's name was taken, where Arun Pillai's name was taken, and in fact Vijay Nair's name was also taken. So this entire investigation is turning out to be a very interesting one, because more and more facts are coming to the fore.
Absolutely, Yash. Thank you so much for joining us, for giving us all of that context and for giving us that very crucial information. Now, we're going to be telling you more about this